There's two key methods of establishing clover. One is reseeding and one is over-sowing. Just on reseeding, we're not changing any of our management practices on reseeding. We're including 1.5 to 2 kilos of clover seed per acre included in the seed mix. The most important element of reseeding with clover in the seed mix is not burying the soil or the seed too deep in the soil. So we're talking between 10 and 12 millimeters of depth. In terms of over-sowing is a little bit more complicated in terms of getting a good establishment, and there's a couple of key criteria that we need to get right. And the number one is identifying the most suitable paddocks, and that is coming back onto optimum soil fertility, index 3s and 4s for P's and K's, and a minimum of index 6.3 and ideally 6.5 for soil pH. A good clean sward with no weeds, and open clean swards that when the seed goes out is going to touch the ground. We're going to a slightly higher seeding rate of 2.5 kilos of clover seed per acre, and we're following the cows immediately from early April to middle to end of June, so we have adequate soil moisture in the ground so the seed is going to establish and persist. And always recommend, pick recommended cultivar lists for your perennial ryegrass, for your full reseeds and your white clover. And we're going at a 4-year approach of reseeding approximately 10% per year and over-sowing of following 15 to 20%. It is key not to do too much of your farm at one time because it's too difficult to manage it preferentially and it will fail on the farm. In terms of methodology and over-sowing or stitching your clover in, there is no difference in any method as long as each of the methods is done correctly, whether it be broadcasting, stitching it in or direct drilling it into the ground. But the most important element to actually get to manage the clover and maintain it in the swards long term after reseeding or over-sowing is your post-sowing management. On a full reseed, always use clover safe herbicides and get the timing right that you ensure you get an effective and good weed kill. In terms of over-sowing, we're reducing our chemical fertiliser for 2 months post-sowing to 15 kilos of nitrogen per month, and in a reswards, similar to over-sowing and managed swards, grazing management are first grazing at 800 kilos of dry matter per hectare and are following 3 rotations at between 1,000 and 1,100. And this is key to maintain light to the base of the sward and keep low covers for the following 12 months to help that clover plant to establish.